using MapReduce code, right? So to write a MapReduce code, we have to write a bigger Java code, right? Let's assume that I'm getting some data in the structure form, and I do not have a Java knowledgeable people, and I have a people who are came from SQL background. So I should be able to manage with them. What I can do, I can choose a tool called Hive. So where if you choose a Hive as a tool for processing the data, you do not need to have a knowledge on Java, and you don't need to have people who are good in the Java like whole, right? So even though you can easily manage with the people who are there from SQL background. Understand, guys? Understood? Now, how it will work? As I said before, it is on top of Hadoop only. It is Hive is on top of Hadoop only. It is on top of Hadoop only. HDFS. It is on top of HDFS only. So whatever the queries you write, whatever the queries you write, internally it converts into MapReduce job, and it will execute that MapReduce job. So Hive is like, for you, Hive is like an interface to unstructured data which is there in the HDFS. Like we are providing some structure to the data, and we will process using MapReduce. We will process using MapReduce. So the process engine for Hive is MapReduce. If you do not like to have my MapReduce as a process engine, you can go ahead and change it like a Tej. You can go ahead and change it like Spark. You can go ahead and change it like something else. Are you guys able to follow? Okay. So Hive uses metadata to store the schema information. Hive uses Metastore. People will call Metastore. The Metastore is nothing but RDBMS. Hive uses the RDBMS to store the metadata. What is it metadata? Schema of the a table, a schema information. It will store the schema information. Let's go ahead and open the slides, or you can directly go ahead and open your drive. You can open your drive, the drive which I have shared with you already. You can go ahead and open your drive. In the drive you have some PDFs and notes is there. So this metadata, whatever the metadata I'm telling you here, whatever the metadata I'm showing you here, the Hive uses in 3 different modes. Does anyone has idea what are the 3 different modes of the metastores? Does anyone has the what is the idea? I mean, what is the metastore and what are the different modes of the metastore? These are the different modes of the metastore. One is embedded. Embedded means by default it will come with your Hive, so it will be included in the Hive. It is included in the Hive. And other one is called local. You can have a different database, and your driver and metastore will be in the same machine, where your database will be in another machine, but it's a local mode. And there is something called and there is something called remote mode, where you will be having MySQL will be running on the separate machine, and your drivers like your query will be there in the separate machine. And the advantage is that in the production we'll be using remote mode only, because we'll be having a dedicated database for that, store the metadata and all. And the embedded mode, and the difference between embedded mode and, sorry guys, so the difference between the embedded mode and this um, remote mode is, in the embedded mode only one person can log in. It means only one session can create for metadata, so it will not support a multiple sessions. So if you are not using Derby as a database for the Hive, if you are using anything else, any other database, and that's called local. And if you are using a dedicated database and you are using this production environment, we will use the production environment that is remote. Okay, so I think I also shared something called some PPT. I also shared some PPT. Let me show you that. Yep, that's done. This one also has the same information. So this has a why, what is a Hive, and what is the HQL, and all those things. So let's talk about the components. So I just want to talk about the components. Okay, before getting into that, your Hive uses something called HQL, which is a Hive query language, which is similar to SQL language. So as I said before, so you no need to have a Java knowledge to work on Hive. Okay, you no need to write a big Java code for processing the data. Where if you are from SQL background, this is the uh, this is for, I can say, for SQL people, where the who knows the SQL, they can easily connect with this Hive, and they can write a queries, because it's similar to your SQL, right? So it's like, if you can see here an example, select uppercase of name, this, select min and max of this. So the same, it's very similar to your SQL. It will be very similar to your SQL. So let's have a little what is the capabilities of this, where you can have a create, manage the tables, because so it's a, as I said before, it's a data warehouse system, right? So it means we'll be having a data in the form of tables, right? Whatever the data I have stored in HDFS, that will be there in the form of tables. Okay, and whatever the data you are going to store, you will store in the form of tables through Hive, but underneath it will be flat files only. Underneath it is flat files only. When you are looking through Hive, it is a table. When you're looking through HDFS, it is a flat file. See, even though in RDBMS also, when you create a table, you'll be having a table. Under this, you'll be having something called table space, and under this, you'll be having the data, how it will store the files only. Table, it looks like this, but actually it is loading in the form of table files only in the hard disk. Underneath it will store the files only. The similar way here, even though Hive looks like a table on top of the HDFS, when you look through this directly, when you're trying to access through HDFS, that is the flat files only. That's the flat files only. When I'm looking through this Hive, it looks like a tables. It's like a tables, which is an interface for you, which is an interface where you can create a table, where you can where you can access the table, where you can delete, drop all your DDL and DML commands that you can you can go ahead and execute on top of it. Any doubt so far? Any doubt so far? Please respond to me, guys. So based on that, I can. Anil, Anisha, Ganesh, Harika, Kishore.
No, Veera, it's clear.
Okay. Please don't hesitate to ask me any question. Please go ahead and ask. So I'll go and I'll give better information. I'll may explain in a better way. So as I said here, it has the ability to create and manage the tables. It has, you can do a support for the multiple operations such as like a relational, arithmetic and logical operators. And you can also do the such kind of operations here. Ability to various joins between two tables where you can do a joins. And here you can evaluate functions like aggregate functions like a group by, like you can have a min max type of values, you can have average. So you'll be having all predefined aggregate function support here. And you can also store the data results into another table. This is the most important thing. Let's say I'm processing the data, I want to get the results from that table and I want to store into other table, as similar as SQL, guys, as I said, right? As similar as SQL, you can also do all these things in SQL. The similar kind of things you can also do in HDFS and Hadoop. So ability to download content from the table to local directories, ability to create external tables that points the specific location HDFS. So there is something called external table here. We will talk more about the external table here because we need to understand what is the external table and we need to understand what is a managed table or internal table. Okay, we will talk about that more. So internal table means you are creating a table and you are loading the data inside the table, and the table will go into a specific location. Your Hive uses, it's a location as a one specific location. That location is /user /hive /warehouse. It is the Hive's own directory structure. It is the Hive's own directory structure. You do not, so the data is already available in HDFS and you want to refer with that, and you can go with the external table. You can go with the external table where the external table will be pointing out to an existing table or an existing data, and the data will not go under this warehouse. So wherever the data is there, it will be it will be pointing out that data only. We will talk more about that. Not only that, you'll have so many other advantages like data will not get deleted when you drop the external table, but if it is a managed table, when you drop the managed table, the data also will get deleted. The major difference is that. Okay, we will talk about that as well. Okay, you can store the results of the query into an HDFS directory, and ability to plug in the custom scripts. Okay, if you have any custom scripts, you can also plug in with your Hive. Let's say architecture. This is how the architecture looks. This is how the architecture looks, and this is your Hive. Hive have a multiple interfaces. You can have a command line interface, that's called grunt, or that's called a normal Hive prompt or Hive shell. Okay, you'll be having a web. You'll also have the web like a Hue. There are some tools, Hue, Ambari, right? Through them also you can access, through Ambari, through Hue. You can also have the access the Hive, and you'll be having a JDBC support to connect through a Thrift server. You can also connect through a Thrift server to the Hive, and it will maintain the Metastore information. It maintains the Metastore information. This Metastore information is nothing but RDBMS. So the Metastore is nothing but RDBMS. As we discussed above, there are three type of Metastores, three modes of Metastore. So one is the embedded Metastore. It will come along with the Hadoop Hive software. You don't need to externally create a separate database, and you don't need to point out. And another one is local. So local, you can connect a local running database, and another one is something called remote. Another one is called remote. The remote is like something, there will be a dedicated database for storing the data in it. I mean metadata, not the data, guys. You will never store any data into RDBMS. You will be storing the actual data into HDFS. The only schema information will be storing into metadata. So I will be explaining you why we need to store the metadata into RDBMS. Why can't we store into HDFS itself? Why can't we store into normal data, normal Hadoop itself? Why we need to go with RDBMS? So that's a more important thing. I'll be showing you. I'll be explaining you very detail about that. Okay, coming to the process, how the coming to the components of Hive, and as I said, it has so many different views or different interfaces. So like its command line interface. The command line interface is nothing but your your Hive shell, right? Like what is the command line interface? Let me show you. Let me check my services are running or not. My services are not running. Let make it run this. Okay, let's move by the time it connect. Okay, so we have some parsers. You have some parsers. See the Hive job. Okay, whatever you're writing in a Hive, and that will be going into the HDFS, right? And when you are processing the data, the process internally it uses the MapReduce. You can also use, as I said before, you can also use a different kind of process engines. So it will be your Hive will be having something called Hive parsers, and it will be preparing the logical plan, and it will be preparing the physical plan, then it will be executing your code, your actual logic. See, even it will also same with SQL. We will talk about that a little more information when we are going to see. So the major the components of Hive is UI. UI is like interface, user interface, and we'll be having a driver. Why we need a driver, that I'll explain now. Because I need to connect to RDBMS, right? This is my RDBMS. I need to connect to my RDBMS. To connect to my RDBMS, I need the driver to connect this. Not only Hive guys, any application wants to connect to RDBMS, or any other tool wants to connect to RDBMS, they should have a driver, and they should have a connector. And different databases. Let's say you have a MySQL database, you have a DB, you have Oracle, you have Postgres, you have something else. You can have any type of database. So Teradata, but we will not use the Teradata as RDB metadata here. That's a different. Okay, whenever you want to connect to any database or DBMS, we should have a driver and connector. So that's one of the component. The driver is used to receives the query from the UI. The component implements the notation of the session handler and provides execute and fetch the APIs modeled on JDBC ODBC interfaces. So what are the connector I'm talking about here? That's called like your MySQL connector. There's like your RDBMS connector to connect the database. The driver is like your JDBC driver, ODBC driver, what type of driver you're using to connect to the RDBMS to parse your to, to parse your queries. Okay, what are the queries you are writing, right? And there is something called compiler. If you see here, there is something called compiler. It is not listed out here, but it is one of the part of this. Maybe you'll be seeing another diagram where I have clearly mentioned what is how the data is, how the Hive is getting processed. I'll be showing here. So this is another important component that parses the query, does semantic analysis on the data. I mean the different queries what you are writing, query blocks, and the query express that eventually generates an execution plan. Your compiler will prepare the execution plan with the help of the table on partition metadata, look up, I mean it has to refer the metadata for that, and uh, it will connect to the metadata, and it will prepare that plan. Who will prepare that plan? The compiler. The compiler. There is something called metastore. As I told you before, your Hive uses the metastore. Your Hive uses RDBMS as a metastore to store the schema information. You may have a doubt in your mindset, why should I use the RDBMS as a metastore? Why can't I use the HDFS itself? Or why can't I put into some other file and read it? So I will explain you that as well. Okay, we will see in detail about that. So before that, let me take you into the Hive, and let me give you very high level information about what is a Hive. And there is something called execution and engine who will execute your queries. So the component which executes the execution plan, who will execute the execution plan, and who will create, and I mean what the plan has been created, who will execute that. The plan is direct acyclic graph, different stages, what has to execute first one, and what has to execute next, and what has to execute next. It will be, the DAG will be prepared. So based on the DAG, the execution will go. So the execution engine manages the dependencies. Suppose if you have any dependencies, and between the three different stages, okay, these not three, these different stages, the plan and execution and storage, and it will start execute that. Okay, so let's move, and these are the components: shell, driver, compiler, and execution, and metastore. And let's get into the metastore. What is the metastore? Hive stores the schema information in the table, and that table is the, see, whatever the data you're loading into HDFS, it is a flat file. Now on top of that, I'm creating a schema. On top of that, I'm creating a schema for it. The schema information has to load somewhere to prefer the future. So I can store in the HDFS, but there is some difficulties with storing in other file or HDFS. That's the reason our Hive uses the other database. So what is the metastore here? Hive metastore is the schema of the Hive tables, and in a Hive metastore. Hive metastore is some other database we'll use for storing it. Metastore is used to hold all the information about the tables and partitions and that are in the warehouse. Whatever the tables you are going to create, whatever the partitions you create in the tables and on the through Hive, that information will be stored into a specific machine. That machine or that RDBMS will call as a metastore. And by default, metastore runs in the same process as the Hive service, and that default database is Derby. That is called embedded database, embedded metastore. Okay, so it uses the default an existing database. You don't need to write, you don't need to install separately, you don't need to execute separately. But what we are going to do here, we are going to do in a local mode. We are not going to use the Derby. We are not going to use the Derby in the real time. In the productions, we will be using no, remote mode. We will be having a dedicated database for it, and where the our Postgres or MySQL will be running, and in that we will be keeping our metastore information. We will not use the Derby. That's the reason I'm not going to show you a Derby. It provides a two important often look for the, I mean, what is the main purpose of the your storing a metastore? Because see, very simple. So I want to process the data in the form of table, but I need the schema information. From where I can get the schema information? From the metastore. And your Hive important, see, it provides the two important, your Hive, not the metastore. So often look for the features like a data warehouse. One is the data abstraction, other one is the data discovery. What is a data abstraction? Look at here. It provides in Hive, user has to provide the information about the data format and extractors and loaders along with the query. See, if you don't have a metastore, if you don't have a metastore, while he is processing the data, he has to provide what is the format of the data. He has to provide what is the extractors of it. How will I process the data? All the information has to provide along with his code, right? If you have a metadata, you can directly fetch from that metadata, and you can go ahead and process. So that's the purpose of your metastore. If anyone asks you what is the purpose of the metastore, so it provides the two functionalities. So one is the data abstraction and data discovery. The data abstraction is something like when you are going to write a queries or Hive queries, or when you're going to process the data using Hive. So along with your Hive queries, you have to provide the format and executors, what is the libraries it has to use, all the information you have to provide. But if you have something called Metastore, where Metastore will have all this information will be stored before when you create a table, and while you're processing it will be referred, it will be looked up into that table. Understand, guys? Any doubt? Any doubt till here? Okay. And other one is other functionality is data discovery. It enables the users to discover and explore the relevant and specific data in the warehouse. Other tools can build on using this, the metadata, to expose the possibly enhance information about the data. So suppose any other tool wants to connect, and any other tool wants to process your data, they can connect to a metadata and they can understand the data information. So this is about the metadata. Let's go ahead and see what are the different types of the metadata we just have seen in other diagram, and in other document. It has embedded, and it has the local mode, and it has the remote mode. You'll be having a separate, and you'll be having so many other components along with this. And the real time will be using remote only, will not be using embedded. So for the development purpose, to development purpose and internal testing purpose, we may use the local, but learning purpose I can say we can use the DB. It's a single user database where only one user can connect to the database, where we can process it. I think that something is missing their example, because I'll show the example now. Okay, so your Hive uses some data types as similar as your other tools, which uses the data type to process the data to store in the data in the different. You'll have a tiny int, small int, big int, float, double, boolean, string, timestamp, and binary. There are different kind of data types out there to handle your data, and it's pretty simple, guys. It's as similar as your normal RDBMS. Okay, I'm just quickly going through data types. There are, apart from these are like primitive data types. Apart from these data types, there are another three more type of data types. Those are called complex data types. Those are called complex data types. What is the complex data types? I'll tell you that, like the data structures. Okay, there is something called arrays, and there is something called struct. There is something called maps. We will talk more about these things. You will not to worry. So I'll also show you an example for that. We will be doing an examples on it. Okay, so that's about the data types. Let's go ahead and see how see a simple query, and how we will, this is the example for the complex data types. You will not to worry about them. So I'll just go ahead and show you how to connect. I think by the time my mission is already started. Let me go ahead and see. Yep. Let me reconnect from here. So I like to use putty, because in the real time we'll be using putty. So if you, it's a very simple small tool, no, it's very easy to understand it. Just to connect to any other Linux box from the other machine. So installation of the Hive is pretty simple, guys. Let me explain you here. The document also available in the drive. I will share. If anyone does not have access, I'll share the access. So it's very simple to install. First you install MySQL. Install MySQL. But because we are going to use MySQL for this, and download and install the MySQL connector. And it will come like a Java hyphen 5.1.128 or something, 3.28 something, it will be there. This is called connector. And download Hive. So you can use the 2.0.1, the I think it's some stable version, and set the class path. Set the class path for Hive. Copy this connector, whatever the connector you have downloaded, copy to Hive library, and you have to open hive site.xml. You have to create a file called hive-site.xml. You have to configure all this. As I said, your Hive uses the Metastore, right? And Hive uses the database, right? Your URL, what is the database URL? Like JDBC colon MySQL localhost something something. Username and password to connect to the database. That information you need to provide in the hive site.xml. This is the basic configurations which we need to provide for Hive. Okay, then go to the terminal and you just go ahead and execute the commands. Okay, let's look at here, guys. My services are not running. The question is for you guys. So because this type of questions you'll be facing in interviews. To start my Hive services, do I need HDFS or do I need Hadoop running? To start Hive,
No,
do I need Hadoop running?
no, we can use the local file, external table to read as well, right?
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we need Hadoop services are running to start the Hive services. Why? Let's see, guys. It just took taking some time because I'm running so many things. Look at guys here. Connection refused. Connection refused. It's trying to connect your name node service. It's trying to connect your name node service. I just executed normal command way to see the version, but still look at here because your Hive is on top of HDFS. So obviously your HDFS services should be running to execute the Hive. So I think one of our mate was asking in the some group sometime before. So this is the answer for that. Okay, your Hive should be running on it. Even I have answered the time, but here the proof. Okay, so let's start our services. Everyone able to follow? Okay, guys, here I'll be showing you like I'll be explaining the interview questions as well, what they can ask. Okay, so what type of questions they may ask, and that will be seeing. Yeah, let's say GPS. Let's start high version. So actually you can see the here What is the version we are using? So as soon as you type Hive, it will directly get into the Hive prompt. Because why it is coming this default and all in your machine, it may not show the default and all. I will tell you the reason behind it. Okay, I have something configured. You guys, I'll show you that how to configure that as well. And also, please look at this statement. Very much important statement. Hive on MR is deprecated in Hive 2 because I'm using Hive 2 version and may not be available in the future versions. What does it mean? In the Hive future versions, Hive will not run on top of MapReduce. Consider using different execution engines like a Spark, Tej, or use hive.1.x. Hive 1.x. You still want to go with MapReduce only? Go ahead and use Hive 1. Don't use a latest versions of Hive. Okay, it means it's clearly showing that here Hive is compatible with any of other execution or processing engines. Clear, guys? Any execution or processing engines. Okay, so Hive itself is clearly telling that here while starting itself. Okay, so what is a Hive prompt? Your Hive prompt is like a MySQL prompt, guys. This is called interface, UI, command line, user interface. It is like your CLI, command line interface. I can see here what are the databases are available. Show databases as similar as your SQL queries. These are the databases are there in my machine. These are the databases are there in my machine. And if you want to use any database, use test 530. I mean, because I'm just using any database type, you can use any database. Using, now it is moved to test database. You can look at here. Before it was default, now it is test. By seeing this, you can understand which database you are using. By seeing that, you can understand which database you are using. Show tables. Show tables. It shows all the tables because I have created so many tables here. So you can see all the tables here. Show tables. Okay, and you can see, let's say, is there any database here? Let's say table underscore array, or let's say sample. Select star from sample. Table not found sample, maybe. What it is? Oh, sample is not there. Okay. Let's take products. It does not contain any records. It not contain any records. Let's take other one. Students. Let's see. Yeah, some records are there. Okay, don't surprise, guys. In your setup, you may not able to see the column names like this. You may not able to see the like this in our in your setup. Don't surprise. As I said, and I have set up some runtime environment. So who can do this something for me before it launches? That also I'll tell you. Now, now let's go ahead and try to understand Hive data structures and Hive configuration files. This is more important to before getting into anything we are learning, we need to understand the folder structure configurations. Even though we are not going to do a setup, even though we are not going to do a setup, we need to understand that. Okay, you'll be having a binary directory, you'll be having a JDBC. Look at here, the driver related, you'll be having a libraries. Okay, so as I said before, in this library you should have a connector, you should have a connector along with other libraries. So look at here, Derby is the default one. You no need to do anything, it automatically comes along with it. Okay, they're all HBase and all the support. We'll talk about that later. These are all like log4j and all. MySQL connector. This is like MySQL connector. I need a MySQL connector to connect the data warehouse system, metadata, where I am using Hive as a metadata in my system. Hive has metadata in my system. Okay, so I mean it'll be having a Parquet, Pentaho. It'll also have so many, guys. Not to worry, it will have so much of support for any type of data. Even Teradata also it will support. Okay, so you no need to worry about them. Support in the sense you can get the data from the Teradata, you can put into the HDF Hive. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, okay. So let's go back and see the configurations. And another thing is that you can also write your Hive through, you can write your Hive queries, or you can access your Hive through Java as well and Python as well. Okay, that's why you're able to see here Python py. Okay, let's go to the configurations. In the configurations, the most important configuration is you will not be having hivesite.xml. You need to create a hivesite.xml. You guys know how to create a hivesite.xml. One is the default one, like how you have a hdfs-default, and other one is the site specific. Site specific mean your site specific, your setup specific. So it has so many configurations. It has so many configuration like how your HDFS site HDFS default XML and core default XML, map default XML, yarn default XML. The similar way here also you have some default XML and default configurations. So whatever is important, whatever is your setup specific, those things you have to specify here. And connection URL, this is my connection URL, JDBC MySQL localhost means where your MySQL or RDBMS service is running, that IP address and port number. Your Metastore, in in that database you want to store your metadata information in the form of table, right, or a database, right? So that database name, and I'm specifying if it is not create the database, if not exist you create. So I'm not creating first and giving a path here. By default it is getting, go ahead and create it while starting your Hive service. If it is not exist, it will check whether it is available or not. If it is not available, it will just go ahead and create connection driver. So we are using JDBC driver, as I said, for the MySQL. And my username, the connection username is, so what are the username you want to use to connect to that specific database, and your password for that database. Now that's it, you don't need to specify anything else apart from this. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the default XML file, right? We'll be having something, no, we'll be having some default values for this, right? Let's go ahead and look at, guys, what is that? Derby. What is that? Derby. Your default is Derby, and it has some connection password is the mine. I think it's the default password for that. and it also will be having a default username for that. You can search for connection username app app. Understand, guys? So that's the reason we'll say the Derby is a embedded. The Derby libraries by default will be available in Hive, so it's it can easily connect to the Derby, and it easily can access that. Okay, so rest of the configurations we don't need at this point of time. We can see them later. Anyone has a doubt about the XML file? Because we need to understand XML file first. Please, guys, please respond to me. Any doubt? Any doubt? Yes or no?
Ravi,
Yeah.
Putty box is in top of Ubuntu or it's a separate one we have to install
Putty
separately?
Putty is a small tool. Okay. So what we will do, let's assume that you have a Windows machine. You don't have a Linux machine, but you want to connect to the Linux machine. This is a very small tool where you can connect it. Where you can connect it. You can just, it is just a small software. So you can just double click on it. It will ask you to username, URL, IP address, not URL, IP address, which machine you want to connect, and username, password. That's it. You can easily go ahead and connect. Let me show you.
Okay.
Let me show you a new session. Look at this is the putty tool. This is the putty tool. Okay, and this putty tool, you will be having this SSH, I mean sessions, and you have to configure this. This is the IP address where you will give, because I'm using SSH, so default port number is 22. SSH, there are different kind of connections, telnet and rlogin, SSH, serial. There are different kind of connection types. I'm using SSH, so SSH default port number is this. Okay, so I'll be connecting to the same machine. So I know that what is my machine IP address. Okay, that machine I'm connecting. If you want to connect something else, some other my EMRs, some my other cloud which I want to connect to my other clouds. Okay, so I'll be having my Cloudera VM, and I want to connect some other machines here. Okay, I can directly go ahead and connect them. You can save them. It's nothing like saving those IP addresses. So I want to connect to this. Just say load. Just say open. It will connect like this. Okay, but anyway, I want to do a duplicate. So if I do like this, again I go ahead, I need to go ahead and do uh, settings. I need to change the settings. So it's already an existing. I'll just duplicate the session. So when I duplicate the session, again you need to log in. Your username you have to enter here, and it will ask for the password. And you have to enter the password. That's it. You can connect to any Linux box if you have a permission. You can connect to any Linux box. Even you can connect to the different network where the machine is running in the different network if you have a connection. If you have access. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you whatever I have shown in the configuration file. This is my Metastore. It is storing in some machine. No, it will be storing in some machine. What is that machine? Your MySQL. This machine, localhost. So now I'm going to show you that. I'm going to connect to that machine. I'm going to show you that. Okay, the username I have used something different there, Hadoop 1, and the password I have used it different there. Press enter. I have connected to my SQL prompt. Now show databases, and you can see my Metastore. This is my Metastore. This is a little important, guys. This is my Metastore. Let's say use my Metastore, and let's go ahead and show tables. It will be having so many tables, guys. So it will be having so many tables. We're not going to worry about these things. Okay, if you see TBLS, there is something called TBLS. these are our tables. These are the tables which I have created. Like I have created customer, stock bucket. These are the things I have created. So if you remember, these are the things: students, products. Sample is there, but I might have deleted this. Okay, that's the reason. So these are the tables I have created. Okay, if you create any new table there, the one entry will come here. One entry will come. What type of table it is, and what type of table it is, right? And you can see create time, and see here. This is actually. Let me describe it. Okay, that makes sense. This is the table ID, created time, database ID, lost access time, your owner, okay, retention, SD underscore ID, table name, table type, view view expand text, original text. So all this information will be available in your table. This your existing table, and also see here the table ID is a primary key, so it cannot be created the same table, I mean same ID with the same other table. Okay. So this is about our Metastore. We are not going to do anything with this, but we need to understand this. We need to understand. Our schema information is getting stored somewhere. Our schema information is getting stored somewhere. Okay. How it is storing, where it's storing? Your whatever the whatever the whatever the database name you have mentioned in your configuration, whichever the database you want to store, whatever the database name you have given. So it will be get created there and it will be available in it. Clear? Any doubt?
Ravi, when you are using locally, we can use putty box and we are giving the URLs and we are doing configurations. If we are doing in real time, no need a putty box, right?
No, in the real time we need a putty because the cluster will be running on different machines and you will be accessing from your putty only.
Okay, okay. If you need any particular system, then we can use the putty box, right?
Even through putty you can connect to a Hadoop cluster. Even from putty you can connect to your cloud. It's just a tool to connect to other machine and it will show you the terminal like this black screen. It will show this black
Okay.
screen. So where you can type, where you can access, you can access any service from the Linux box.
No, actually, I know the putty box, and even right now I'm using putty box also.
Okay.
But here, while we are connecting Hadoop, we have different missions and clusters, multi clusters also.
Mm-hmm.
Just so if you need a particular mission, then we are using through putty box only. We can connect that.
Yeah. It's not only through, but
Yeah.
suppose if you have access for that cluster or if you have access to that machine through UI, you can go ahead and log into that machine directly. If that machine is present in
Okay.
that machine is present in front of you, or if that machine is
Oh,
there somewhere else, and you want to connect to that machine, and the putty will give you an option to connect to that and you can access that. It's like taking
access.
remote machine.
Okay, I understand. Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah. Okay, this is about the configuration and all those things, guys. This is a little important thing we need to understand. Now, I'm going to answer you because I'm not going to show like commands and all those things. I'll be showing you how to create tables and all. It's a pretty simple one. The thing is that we need to understand the under the hood how it is, right? That is what I'm trying to explain more in detail. Now, why should I use Metastore as a database? Why can't I use why can't I use HDFS file system itself to store the meta information? Can anyone guess and tell me the answer? Why should I go with why Metastore? Why can't I store directly in HDFS or some other place? Why it's RDBMS? Why Metastore as an RDBMS? Let me put in this way. Can you guys guess or try to visualize and why, what might be the real cause? This is another most important interview question. Anyone? Gautami, Harika, Ganesh, Anisha, Anil, Masood, Sachin, Kishore, Rakesh, Sai, Nikesh. Anyone? Okay. So if I store that metadata information in HDFS or any file system, that will be a flat file. That will be a flat file. I need information like, as soon as I connect to that, I need information in the like it's like a schema information. So if you put into the file, you need to read that file again. You need to read the file, and you need to understand, like you need to make it, oh, this is. You need to read the data. You need to read a metadata file, right? If it is a file, you have to read the file and you have to understand it. But if it is RDBMS, you can just go ahead and connect and you can look up the table. It looks like a table. Oh, this is the table. Oh, this is, it will maintain the schema information and differently, right? So this is the table. Oh, this table has this column. Oh, this column is type is this, and this column of primary key, or it has a partitions. Oh, it is using internally a text input format. Oh, it internally using another output format. All this information will be knowing if it is there in the metadata. All this information, if you put into the file, what you need to do? You need to write another parser to parse it. If it is a text file, you need to write some other code to parse it, and you need to write some other code to understand it as a metadata, right? So that's the reason. So they have used say, not only Hadoop, right? There may be some other system want to connect to Hive. There may be some other system, my Java application wants to connect to Hive. If I keep it in a text file, again my Java code has to read the text file. It has to understand it has to parse that text file. You have to understand as a metadata. Then you have to do like data abstraction and data discovery. You have to do it, right? If it is a database, directly go and connect to the database, read the metadata. So because your driver, your driver knows it, like you can say your tool knows it, how to read the data from the database. Any doubt, guys, till here? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No.
Okay, so let's move to understand another important thing is difference between your local and remote mode, when to go for what. So this is all blah 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 whatever we have already discussed about this. So, and as I said, the DB Derby is the default metastore. So one second guys, I'm just sending some message here. Yeah, so the Derby database is a default metastore, but it is useful only for the single developer. It is not useful for the production, as multiple users cannot connect. It is a single session. Okay, so one user has log off to execute another user. And other options are like a database, whereas ODBC and JDBC support. You as I shown before in the architecture, you have ODBC and JDBC support. And the difference between the local and remote mode is the local mode, the metastore runs in the same JVM, where, like I told you, so in my machine only I have in my machine only I have my RDBMS is running. If I have a different machine is running an RDBMS, that will be remote machine. That will be remote machine. Hive running, where in the case of the remote, the both Hive and Metastore will be running in the separate machines. Separate machines. That's the reason I have given here. in the Metastore localhost. Why I'm giving localhost? Because the MySQL service, my MySQL service or RDBM service is running in the same machine. So this type of setup we'll call as a local Metastore. Understand, guys? This is another important. They will ask what is the difference between the local and remote, and why can't we go with Derby? What is the problem with the Derby? Okay. So in the most of the cases, guys, so sometimes we go with MySQL, sometimes we'll go with the Postgres. So I have seen all my 3, 4 projects. I have seen Postgres only instead of MySQL. So 1 second, guys, I'm just getting a call. Okay, sorry, guys. So let's move. These are some frequently asked questions. So that's what, as I said. So sometimes you can use the Postgres or you can use MySQL. So most of the time, most of the real time, I have seen Postgres using. They have some their own benefits. Okay. Uh, okay. These are all we'll see. So, and I already explained this configuration file. So this is how I mean I have formed this document to explain you guys. I have already did it. And to connect into MySQL, okay, if anyone is new here to connect to the MySQL, let me show you. I can exit from here one more time. Let me show you. Suppose if you want to connect to the MySQL, it's very simple. You just need to say MySQL, but MySQL has to be installed in your machine, and -u to give the username. So here I'm using Hadoop1 as my username, and -p you have to give as a password. So try to don't give here the password like this. So again it lost the password, but because that's insecure. So actually you should not give it here. You just need to press. Now you give here. It will accept. Okay. So that's why we just specify -p there. We'll not have something called who will take directly in the while connecting itself. That is not there. Okay. That is about that. So let's we guess we can go ahead and understand. We already understood what is the. I mean, this is the way I have put it in the sequence way. Hive and limitations, no support for update and delete. This was a old document, but now you have a update and delete support if your file is a ORC file and it has to be bucketed, and you have to enable some configurations called with a transaction manager. You have to enable the transaction manager. That's called ACID properties. You have to enable your ACID properties, then you can go ahead and do all this. Okay, so it is now you have a support for the update and delete. You have a support for single row level insertions. You have that support. Okay, a limited built-in functions. Even, yeah, now the some little more functions has been increased. So it is not like all standard queries will not be having post PLSQL support here. You will not be writing very big complex queries in this. Will not be writing very big sub queries. Okay, so sub queries are allowed, not very lengthy or deep sub queries. Okay, so setup and all we already did it. So some guys already did it in the previous sessions, and if anyone is not done, I'll share the document. Please go ahead and do it. Okay, the similar explanation, the components we already discussed about them. Just little jump into the data types. Even we have seen the data types in Hive. Okay, so we already discussed. Then so here a few things I want to make you understand. If you can how you can connect to the Hive, very simple. You can also type exit here, come out. So you can just type Hive, nothing else. You just need to type Hive, just press enter, or where your Hive is installed, you can go to the specific directory where you can go to the specific directory. You can go to the bin directory in it, because anyway this is a standard way how you will execute. You just say /hive. You can also start the services like this. You can also start the service like this. Okay, and other important configuration I missed to show you guys. So that is a very much important, because I didn't put into my Hive site.xml. It's not no need to change it. You are until you are happy with your existing. Oh, this is your Metastore. Metastore warehouse directory. It means your default location, the location of the default database of the warehouse. So in a HDFS, where it will go and store by default. Where it will go and store by default. In your HDFS, where it will go and store by default. Let me show you that. The default location in our HDFS. Go to file browse, and you can see here user, and you can see here Hive. You can see here warehouse. Inside the warehouse, these many are there. Different kind of databases. Different kind of databases. Each database will store with a .db. It will store with a .db. Okay, it will store with a .db. Okay, and if you didn't specify anything, by default is the database. The default.db will not be available here, because the Hive location, the warehouse location itself is the. So in the default, I have employee test 1, 2, 3. These are all it's showing here, no? Employee partition. These are all it is showing, right? These are all part of my default database. So this is the default. If I say show tables here, what are the tables you are seeing here? The same tables are there. These are all my default tables. These are my default tables which I'm talking about here. These are all connected. So whichever is not there with the .db extension, those are all tables. Whichever is not there with the .db as an extension, those are all tables. Okay, we'll go ahead and create one database, and we'll go ahead and see each and every point. Okay, so does anyone want a break? Because we are going to discuss another 1 hour. Anyone want a break? Any doubt or any break? Very good, guys, very good. No one want a break, but I want a break. So let's take a 5 minutes break and just join by 7:35. Please make sure that you join by 7:35. Okay, thank you, guys. Check out. Okay, so we know how to create database. We just created. So let me create one more time. If you want to see, let's say use create database name, you just press enter, it will get created. Once you create it, if you want to use it, and you can check whether it's created or not by using show databases, and after using the show databases, it will list out all the databases. In that you can choose your database, whatever the database you want to use, make use of that database. You can use the command to use that database name, and as soon as you press enter, you will get into your database. You can use here show tables to see the tables. Okay, it lists out all the tables here. So this is how we will create a database in the Hive. So what are the database you have created here? If you go and see in your machine, just refresh here, you'll be finding something called test630.db. So nothing is there, it's an empty database, so we didn't create any table. Here we need to understand one thing, your database, whatever the database you are creating in Hive, That database is nothing but a folder in HDFS, the directory in HDFS. Look at here, all our directories, your database, your table, whatever it is, these are directories in HDFS. Look at here, these are all directories, these are all tables actually. So these are directories. Let's say students, that's our table name, no? The student is a directory, and inside the data, whatever the data you have inserted, that is the file. Okay, let's go ahead and create some table. I'm going to create table here. Very simple table. I just want to create table, test, and I want to create like ID, int, and name, string. Okay, so I'm not going to specify row format, delimiter, and all those things. Those we will talk about them later. Now show tables. The table has been created, which is a test. I want to insert some records in the test. Now this test is nothing but a directory in HDFS. The test is nothing but a directory in HDFS. Test is a directory in this. So you are treating as a table there in your UI, your interface, user interface, but when it comes here, it is a directory. Nothing is there in this. So as I said before, it just your Hive started supporting, and 0.14 onwards, 0.14 onwards, it started supporting row level insertions. So I'm going to insert some data in this. Insert into test. Okay, insert into the test. If you want to specify, you can specify ID, name, whatever the name you want to specify. Values, you want to specify 1 comma Hadoop. So look at here, for inserting a single row, it is launching a MapReduce job. It's done. You can go ahead and say select star from test. The table is there, one on Hadoop. If you go and see in your HDFS, you just need to go refresh. The file has been created, but this file has only one record. Only one record. 1 comma Hadoop. So one Hadoop. It's not 1 comma Hadoop. Okay. So that you can specify row format, delimit, and all those things you can specify, but I didn't specify anything. By default, it is take. The default delimiter in Hive is control A character. Control A character. If anyone asks that what is the default delimiter of your Hive, it is a control A character. Okay. So that is about thing. Suppose you want to insert one more record. If you can go ahead and insert one more record. So let's say that will tell you one more file. That will create one more file. You can go ahead and look at here. Select a specific database and go ahead to the table, and you just refresh. One more record has been created. Let's look at here. 2 comma Hadoop 2. How many insert statements you write, those many files will be created. And also there is something called, you can also write multiple insert commands in a single query. You can also write multiple insert queries. I think here values, I think you should say comma, give 3 spark. I forget it how to give. I'm just assuming it. I think comma will work out here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, but second time also I have inserted same, right? That's the reason it is. Now if you go and look at here, and the third file, so because 3 times we have executed, the third file, it contains 2 records in this. Third file contains 2 records in this. Okay, the third file contains this way. Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt about creating a table? Any doubt about inserting in data into the table? Any doubt about how it will be represented in HDFS? Okay, I think everyone is good. Okay, so let's go back. You can also describe while creating a table. You can also describe like what is the properties, and you also have some option like if the database does not exist, then only you create. If the database exists, don't create. If the database not exist, then only you create. You can specify that, and you can also pass like some expressions, regular expressions. So databases like who start with Veera or who start with Ravi or something, you can pass it like that. Okay, we already saw that warehouse directory. The default warehouse directory is user Hive. Warehouse is the default location. The people may ask you what is the default Hive location. Default Hive location. If you want to change it, you can change it. And you don't like to create in this, you want to change, you want to create a different location. You want to create a different location, you can also create like this. You can also specify the location as the keyword while you are creating a database. Okay, let me create and show you how it will work out. So I'm going to create a database by specifying the specific location. Create database and location lock. Just give a proper name for this. Hive DB test location. I'm giving /training. I have some folder called /training1. In this I want to create like Hive DB. Something is what is this? Single quotes it's expecting. Yep, it's created. It's created. Let's go ahead and check whether it's created or not. We need to test. We need to go here. Training1. And we have given Hive DB test. Hive DB. We just created. We can see the date here. Date and time here. March 4th, no? Yeah, 4th only. Correct. 4th, 226, 226. It has been created. Okay, it's a database. It's a directory. You can specify which location you want to create. You don't want to create in the default location. You want to specify whatever the location you want to create. You can go ahead and create that location. Create. Understood, guys? And while creating, you can give some properties. You can also give a comment. This is my database. This is like that, like that. You can give a comment. Look at here. While creating, you can specify the DB properties, who created, when it has created, what are the name you want to give, you can give. And you can also drop a table, you can also drop a database. But if the database contains any tables in it, it will not drop. So what you need to do, you need to first delete the tables, then you need to drop the database as similar as your SQL. And otherwise you want to drop it at any cost, you can use a cascade. Cascade is the command. Cascade is the one type of class where you can use in along with your drop command. You can use it, and it will drop all the tables, and it will drop your database as well. Okay, so the data types we have seen. So I just want to get into the tables. There are two type of tables in Hive. Okay, so we'll come back to the complex, guys. We'll come back to this and we'll execute the commands and we'll execute the. I will give you a data. Already you have a data in this, as I shown before. You have a complex tables, managed tables, and you have something called here managed tables and complex also. We have complex data types. We have an example as well for that, and we have a sample data as well here. You have some sample data as well to execute it. Okay, I'll explain that. No, not to worry at that point. Okay, so there are two type of tables here. Please be careful, little careful here, because that's a little important thing. So Hive has actually four different type of tables. Four different type of tables. So we'll be seeing two different type of tables in here and there, but actually there are four different tables. One is Hive tables, different type of Hive tables. Manage table, external table. There is something called temporary table. There is something called temporary table, and there is something called skew table. There are four different type of tables are available: manage table, external table, temporary table, skew table. It is a skew, SKEW. It is a skew table. There are four different type of tables are available. Let's talk about what is a manage table, then we'll see how to create a manage table. The manage table is the table which will manage by Hive. Hive. What is managed by Hive? What does that mean? When you create a table, directly saying that create table, table name, and when you create the table, this table will be go under this default location is /user, until unless you specify the location, guys. Hive and warehouse. This is what we have seen. Under this, you will say sample. The sample will be having something called what are the files you inserted, or what are the data you inserted. Okay. Now, when you create a table, by default it is a managed table. It's a default. It is a default table in Hive. When you create a managed table, what will happen? The table will get created under the warehouse. It's a default warehouse. If you want to change it, you can change it in a configuration file. And the main difference is when you drop this table, when you drop this table, the table will get deleted and schema will be dropped. Schema will also will be deleted. It means the data also will be deleted. Table means schema only, no table data. Actually, it's the table data. Data also will be get deleted from the HDFS as well. Data will be deleted, schema will be deleted, and the table information, table names. That's nothing but your table, right? The schema. So everything will be get deleted from the Hive. Understood, guys? That is so. Why? What is the problem here? The problem is, suppose you have created some managed table and you started inserting the data in it. Anyway, you are putting into HDFS. Anyway, you are putting into HDFS. There may be a chance. There may be a chance other tools also make use of the data. Other tools also make use of the data. Let's assume that you have created a table called employee. Where it will get create? User Hive. This is my HDFS location. In this, I have some employee. So I can connect to this using MapReduce. Yes or no, guys? Because this is just it's a HDFS path, no? I can connect through MySQL. I can access this through Hive. I can access through this MR. I can access through this big program. I can access through some other tools, right? this table or this data will be controlling by Hive engine, I can say. When Hive says a drop it, complete data will be dropped. Then what about MR? What about other tools which are making use of the data? They will lose. They will lose, right? So if the others are making use of the same data, when it will say drop, the complete data will be get deleted. When the complete data will get deleted, so other tools who are making use of the data, they will also lose the data. They will also lose the data, right? Understand, guys? That's the limitation. That is a limitation. Any doubt about the manage table? Because it's really important, guys. Any doubt? No. Okay, good. Now, so inserting the data, putting the data into tables, okay, loading the data. There are multiple ways, guys. There are multiple ways to load the data into. There are multiple ways to load the data into your tables. Like it can be managed table, normal table. Through insert statements, there is something called load command as well. And there is something called location. You can specify the location. You can specify the location while creating a table. How I have specified the location while I'm creating my database, we can specify this. And some scoop also, guys. There is something called, I don't want to miss that as well. A scoop load also. Okay, directly from scoop also you can get put the data into Hive table. Okay, that we'll talk about it. We have seen inserting the data. We have seen inserting the data, and we will see load. This load is the data will be loaded into Hive table from two different places or two different locations. One is a local, one is a MapReduce. Sorry, HDFS. One is the local. It is then other machine, other location. You can bring it and load into the Hive table, or it is then HDFS only. You can also load it. Okay, location is always HDFS. HDFS location. Location is always HDFS location. So we'll be seeing how to load the local data into the Hive table and how to load the HDFS data into Hive table and how to see the location. So these things I'll be explaining here. Okay, so I'll explain the things. I want you to try and come back to me, because I know that we don't have much time to execute each and every command from my end. So what I will do, anyway, the document I have prepared for you, I'll explain each and everything in the detail. Like it is like a writing a code. I don't, it's not like a simple I'm showing the example and leave it. I'll explain the each and every query, what I'm doing here, what I'm doing here, what I'm doing here, and I request you to do the same thing, execute and try to understand. If you face any problem, you can anytime you can ping me. Okay, so as I said, the loading the data, we have seen inserting the data by we use the insert statement, we just saw that, and how it is storing in the HDFS also I shown you, right? So, and I want to show you something here, loading the data into table. Okay, the next option is loading the data into table. Okay, first we should have a data, load data into, one is the local mode, other one is HDFS. Okay, so here we'll be seeing both. First, if you want to load the data, first you need to identify the data either in local or HDFS. And understand the data. Understanding the data means what is the data, how it is look, what is the delimiter, how many columns I need to create, and what is the aggregations I need to do. Is there anything else I need to understand from this data? So you need to understand anything, what type of data, what is the delimiter, all these things you need to understand. Then after that you need to start creating a table. Creating a table is very simple here, as similar as your DBMS. Create table, table name, and the columns and data type, guys. Column and data type. And here you are loading the data. You can specify what is your delimiter. So as I said, the default delimiter is control A character, not the tab, so not the comma. So here you will specify that row delimited row format. I mean, what I'm going to do, I'm going to load the data, right? Let's say this is my data. 1 Hadoop 100 some value, 2 Hadoop 2 some value, 3 Spark some value. So now my data is delimited by comma and it has the rows, right? So I'm going to specify here row format delimited, row format delimited, fields terminated by fields terminated by fields. These are the fields terminated by comma, and you want to store as a text file. Store as a text file. You can do that. And also while loading the data, I have shown this approach, right? Scoop and all these things. There is one more, guys. Selecting from other table. I missed it. Selecting from other table. You can select from other table. You can put into this. Okay. You can also write insert override. You can also write insert into. Okay. You can also write insert statements. Okay. This is how we'll create a table. Create table, table name and data types and all, row format delimited, fields terminated by comma, and store as a text file. So if you want to store as a text file, you can store as a text file. If you want to store as a sequence file, you can store as a sequence file. If you want to store as a Parquet file, you can store as a Parquet file. If you want to store as a ORC file, you can store as a ORC file. If you want to store as a RC file, you can store as a RC file. There are different kind of file formats you can store, and your Hive is supported that. Okay, you can also compress, and I'll show those things. Okay, not at least now, so I'll show those things. And next is load command. You created, and you just need to specify load data, and whether you want to go with a local or you want to go with the HDFS. You need to specify that load data local in path, and you need to specify the path. You need to specify the path of it into table, sample table, whatever the table 1, table 2, test, or whatever that is. Okay, look at here, guys. Let's go ahead and look at into our script. Okay, this is just for some sample, it seems. This is just for a sample. Yeah, manage table. I'm creating some table here. Table is created when the default location is this, and loaded the data in this. How to load data local in path, and you have to give the path of this, and you have to load into the thing. And look at, guys, here, if you specify the local as shown in the here, if I specify the local, you are specifying, let me make it path like this slash, you can easily understand. So if you're specifying the local, it means that it is expecting from the local. So this is how we'll create a table. Create table, table name, and this fields and their data types, respect to data types, and row format delimited, fields terminated by comma, because my data is terminated by comma. Okay, my data is as shown in the explanation. Here my data is comma separated. If it's a tab separated, you can give a tab here. Terminated by tab you can give. If it's a hash separated, you can give a hash. If it is a dollar separated, you can give a dollar. Whatever the terminated your data is looks, you have to specify that and you need to store as a text file, or you want to say store as something else. Where this data will store? The default location where your Hive is loaded, which is user Hive warehouse. Then the table, as I said, it will be created in specific database, because if I specified this is my location, and by specifying like this is the database table I'm using, Hive test, this is the database table I'm using here. Let's say here, instead of retail DB, let me make it very simple. Let's say Hive test. I've created Hive test here. I can also tell like this, Hive test, and I'm using Hive test here, and I'm creating a table. I'm creating a table in this categories, so that the data, because I have created it, I have created the database. I'm using that database. So your table will be created under this. If I not created any database, if I'm not use that database, if I say directly I go ahead and create a table, it will go into default database. What is your default database? Your default database is like user Hive warehouse. Inside the warehouse, you directly the table will be created. Okay, and loading the data, there are two ways to load the data. One is from the local, one is from the HDFS. So if you specify the local, it'll always look for the local path, user local input. This is my local path, and into the table, and which table you want to. And if you want to load from the HDFS, you should have your HDFS or data. In the HDFS, you should have a comma separated values. You can load them. You can load them into this. Okay, so you can make use of that. And I think in our drive we do have data. There is something called we do have something called data somewhere. I have kept here as a data. Let me look at guys that. In this you will be having all this data. You don't need to create, and you don't need to do that. Yeah, we do have a categories. In this you will be having a CSV file, and you do have order items. You do have a product. So you have a data available in this, and data description is available here. If anyone want to look at the data description, you can go ahead and look at the data description for categories. This is the description. For customer, this is the description. For the department, this is the description. You have a description for each and every table. If you want to understand, you can go ahead and understand that. Okay, and the data will be available in this. Data is available in the other table. So you can go ahead and make use of the table, that data. You just download this data. Make use of it. Okay, because the creating a data itself will take some time. So I don't want you guys to waste the creating a data. Okay, so you guys can access the data from there and go ahead and do load the go ahead and do these exercises. Okay, once you load that, it will be available. So when you say select star from this, you can have a you can able to see the data in your Hive table. Okay, 1 second guys, I'm just getting a call. Okay, it's get disconnected, not a problem. Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt till here? The new guys who are all new to this. Harika, Sai, Nikesh, Saraswati. Guys, you all are in mute. Please unmute and talk.
Understood, Ravi.
Okay, what about others?
Clear, sir.
Okay, so please don't assume that I didn't execute a query, or I didn't execute the program on this. So as similar as even if I execute it, It's no difference. Okay, I just want to give you more information by explanation, right? If I just go ahead and blindly type and execute the query, it won't give no more information. I just want to explain more. That's why I am going through the document. So when I started explaining the more from the document, when you're going through the document, you can easily understand, oh, this statement is belong to this statement means this statement means this. So that is the only my intention is. Okay, so you can create one more table, and this is how we'll create a tables in or Hive. You can just go ahead and create all the tables, and you can specify the you can load the data or you can insert the data. I have shown those two. You can do it, right? So next one is okay, these are another two important properties, guys. Try to understand what it is. Set. Suppose if you want to set any configurations in your Hive, if you want to set any configurations in a Hive shell, not from the Hive configuration file, if you want to set any configuration that specific Hive shell, what we will do, we will write a set here. Set hive.cli.print header. What is the print header will do? So if I say here, select star from, because I didn't load any data here, no, so I'll not have any data in this. So let me go back, use test 530, because I have created so many tables in that. So let me make 630. Select star from products. As soon as I execute it, I'm seeing a column names here, as similar like your SQL, right? So if you execute, you may not able to see this. So what this command says that here, that's a property. That is a property you're setting. Print the header you are making true. But you want to make it always by default, go ahead and set into the Hive. You can go ahead and set into your Hive configuration file. Or you can also put into something called Hive RC file. I'll show that what is a Hive RC file. Print header. By default it is false. You just copy paste this property. Copy this property. Go to your Hive. Paste it here. Make it true. This is setting for permanent. This is setting permanently. But what I am using here, set command. This is for till it available. This session is available. If I close the session, that property will lose. Okay. The same way you have one more configuration. Show database. You have some more configuration, no? Print database. Print current database. So by default it is false. Current database means which database you are running. Okay, which database you are running. So that's as simple as that. You want to make it true, you can just copy that, go to your Hive site XML, go below, paste it, and current database you want to see, make it true. Anyway, this is the one way I did. There is other way also you can do it. Okay, there is something called Hive RC file. We will talk more about Hive RC file. So Hive runtime configuration, that's nothing but Hive RC means runtime configurations. So it will be there. I forget where I have kept. It will be in our library. Let's see. Not here. I think it is there in 1 second. Conf. It's not there here. How come? Template of CHC. Let's check binaries. Yeah, this is the file, guys. This is the file. No, this is not the one. No. There's too much. 1 second. Let me search for it. Oh, not the scripts. This is really not that one. I just forgot, guys, where I have kept that. No, this is not the one. I will let you know, guys. The Hive file, IRC, did I specify somewhere? Runtime configuration file. Okay, anyway, I'll show that later. I forgot where I have kept. I need to check it. While loading, it will read that configuration files. So it will read this only, no? Okay, I'll look and I'll get back at this. I think I do remember I have kept in the bin directory. I don't know what happened to that. I'll check on that, you know. Okay, that's the one option. And yeah, so go back. This is this print header and print current database it's showing you. Okay, these are the purpose of these two commands. If you want to set for the terminal, let's say this Hive session. So now this Hive session is there. Those properties will be available. So as soon as I exit from this terminal, those properties will not again default values will be changed. It will come to the default. Okay, that's it. And while creating, now here let's look at here manage table. Okay, I didn't show you the difference, right? So then it's a good that I will go ahead and execute this command. I want to show this difference for you guys. So let's say I'm going to create this table. Let me use test 630. I'm going to use this. I'm going to create a table. I have created the table. Now created, it's clearly saying okay and how much time it's taken, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to load the data. So anyway, I have the data from the local. So let me show this one. So before that, you try to check whether the data is available in this or not. You can just go ahead here. User local Hive input, local input, not Hive input. User local input in that data, that categories. I have a data is already available. So let's go ahead and execute this data. So data is loaded. Select star from categories. So this is the data is available in categories, right? This is the data available in the categories. This is the data is available in the categories. Okay. Next. So don't be surprised from where I got this data. The data is from Cloudera. as I said before, in the Cloudera, Cloudera has a default database is retail underscore DB database, and we can generate the that from the table. So MySQL, when you go and see Cloudera's MySQL, there will be having something called database as a retail underscore DB. From that retail underscore DB, whatever the tables are there, right? From those tables, you can create a CSV files. So I have created such that way. So nothing else. Okay. So that's the reason I just shared with here. And whatever, yeah, I just executed, right? Now you go ahead and look into your HDFS. You go ahead and see HDFS, because you should go, because test, what is this? Stop now, I don't need it. Go back. The default location is user, Hive, warehouse. You have something called 650, sorry, 630. In this you have created categories. In that you have something called categories underscore CSV. Category is the folder, the DB is also folder, but this is a file. Okay, so the block says 32 MB, again same. So once the data is coming to HDFS, all your properties like all will be as similar as that. So I do have like this is the data available in this. Now look at, guys, now a question to you: if I execute the same command one more time, what will happen? If I execute the same command one more time, what will happen? Anyone? If I execute same query one more time, what will happen?
It's showing is data is already exist.
Okay, any other guesses?
Data will be inserted again.
Sorry?
Data will be inserted again.
Data
Same
will be
data.
okay. Okay. Any other guesses, guys? Anyone else? So what, nothing will happen. It will not give any error. It will not give any exception. Okay. So what it will do, it will just insert the same data one more time. Just load it. Okay. There is no map reduce is launched here. Guys, try to observe. When you write insert command, it is launched. But load is just like a copy paste. Copy from this location, put into HDFS. Okay. So it does not require map reduce to launch. Go back. Go to your HDFS. Go to categories and see underscore copy underscore one. What is that? Because the file is already exist, you are copying one more time. So it means I do not want to throw an error saying that it's fails or something, or uh, uh, it's failed or something. So I just want to add a file. It is added here. So both will contain the same data, but it's a duplicated data. So not to worry, because it's not considered primary key and all those things is not there in Hive. You can insert any data any number of times. There is no primary key constraint in this. But why? Because ideally the data will going to store in the flat files. Any doubt? Any doubts? If you see here, when I say use a copy from local, it is a copy and paste, like a copy from local, in the sense I'm not using HDFS copy from local command, guys. I'm using local in path. It is copy paste, copy from the local, paste into HDFS, right? If I use the same thing, you saying that load data in path by giving HDFS path, what will happen? See the surprise. First, before that, we just need to check whether the data is available or not. Let's go back. Let me create another, let me open in the other tab, so I don't want to shift here and there. So let's check, guys. Categories is a directory, category.csv file is there. Very good. So the file is comma separated. Very good. Now anyway, my table also comma separated. The table also comma separated. the table also comes up already created. Now I'm going to give this as a path. Okay, now let's look at here. I'm going to load the data. Nothing changes, only you need to remove local. Remaining everything is same. Copy this, go ahead and paste it here. Copy it. Now it is cut and paste, guys. Let's look at here what happened in the HDFS. What happened in HDFS? And refreshing. No, the category is not there. The file is not there here. While the file has been removed. So when you say in load from HDFS, it is cut from the local, whichever the location you are specifying, it will cut from here, there, and paste into the other location. Where it will paste? Default location. Wherever your DB is there, that location. Look at that. It has been cut from here. It is not available here. You go and see here. Just say refresh. The file came here into user Hive warehouse test. This. So it means while you are loading a data from HDFS to Hive table, we should make sure that no one else is using the data. No one else is using the data. Okay. If anyone else is using the data, what will happen? The data will be removed from there and cut from there and pasted in another location. Whoever using that specific path, they will get an error, right? So that's the one point we need to keep in mind, guys, while loading the data. Okay, now that is about a managed table, what I have shown you. Now I'm going to drop the table. What is the command to drop, guys? Oh, sorry. Just drop table name, nothing else. Table has been removed and it's clearly saying that it has been moved because I have enabled my trash. My HDFS, I have enabled trash, that's why it is removed from the HDFS and putting into trash. So whenever you want, you can recover it back. But I have set some time limit also. After the time is exhausted, the data also will be removed automatically. Now, let's go ahead and see table is there or not here. Category is not there. I really don't know why this is getting created. I need to look at case values. I didn't understand what is this. Maybe some temporary tables. But why this temporary? Maybe I might have done some configuration changes here and there, guys. So you guys don't need to worry about it. Maybe I have done in the RC configuration file. That's why this temporary location is getting created here. But anyway, it's not even showing this any information in this. Temporary column 1, column 2, data type. I don't know. I really don't know. We'll see this why it is happening. Okay. Normally it will not happen in our other case. It will not happen that. It will not create these kind of tables. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see here. It's not there. Does not exist. Does not exist. The data has been deleted. The data has been deleted. And if you use the managed table, let's assume that someone is also using the same data. Someone also using the same data, they will get exception. File not found exception or data, the file not found exception if they also making use of the same location. All right. Now let's look at, guys. You guys understand, right? Loading, how it is loading from HDFS. If you load from HDFS, it will cut from that other location and paste it here. So if you don't want to do that, what we can do, we can use the location option as I explained before. Right? Let's look at here. Manage table using location. Data will not be moved. This time data will not be moved. The data will be remain same in the same location. And if we drop the table, it will remove the data from HDFS as well. Whoa, surprising. Let's see this. So now I'm going to create a table again. I need to create a table because anyway I already executed the table command. It will be available here. Oh, I don't think I can execute it here as a single command because it's a multiple commands. It is there, right? Let's go ahead and copy same categories and specify the location. But what I'm going to specify location categories, right? So this location has to be a directory. This location has to be a directory, guys. It should not be a file. Please keep in mind that. So the location, while creating a table, whatever the location you're specifying, that location has to be a directory. Now I'm going to show you the difference, a little small difference. This is really important. Okay, please try to understand. So till the time what did happen when I created table, when I created a table, what happened here in HDFS? What happened in HDFS? Directory has been created, DB directory has been created, and inside that table directory has been created. Inside that you'll be having other path. I'm not showing about that path. Okay, DB directory has been created, table directory has been created, and file has been created. Correct? Now I'm going to use the location. I'm giving existing path location. So now you guys need to observe that whether anyway is the DB directory will be created. I mean anyway this will already there. This already will be created because we will be creating a, when you create a DB, create DB database name, it will be available. Now I'm creating a table. I'm creating a table whether the table directory is getting created or not. You need to check that whether the table directory is getting created or not. You need to check. Okay, so let's see. So it is a observation for you, so you guys need to observe that. So now first, before, just check whether the data is available in this location or not. Training 1, it has to be a directory. As I said, it has to be a directory. I do have a directory here. Categories directory is already there. Categories directory already there. In this I have a categories, the data is there. Okay, concentrate guys, this is a little much important thing, so interesting as well, right? 1 second guys, I'm just getting a call. Class lo uన్నా. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, let's go ahead and execute. Nothing changes, everything is same. You just specify the location as an extra parameter, nothing else. Everything is remain same. Your delimiters, remaining, everything is same. Just copy that, go to your location, just paste it, press enter. Table has been created, and I didn't load the data, but let's go ahead and select. It's already executed this command. I don't want to type, just you can go and execute select. Categories is not available. Category underscore location, I need to specify that because I'm using for location, right? For to make you understand. Super. The data came here. So now my table name is what? Categories underscore location. So now I need to check whether categories underscore location has been created or not. Correct? Let's go ahead and check in HDFS. Ideally, so as I said before, it will create under where? User, Hive, warehouse, and our database name is test 650. No, it is not created. What happened? Where is the table here? Where is the data directory here? It is not there. Then where it is? Oh, we have specified location, right? Let's go and see in that location. We have specified location, right? Training 1 on categories. Let's go ahead and look at there whether the table is available or not. Let's try, give a try there. Go to your training 1 and look for categories underscore location directory. Is there any categories underscore directory here? No. This guy also telling that it does not have a category underscore directory here. Then where? Because whatever the directory you are specifying, locating that directory is this. So when you specify the location on existing data, your Hive no need to create a directory for a table. That's what I'm trying to say. Your Hive, when you specify the location, your Hive no need to create a directory for a table. It can make use of the existing directory only. It can make use of the existing directory only. It no need to create a new directory. You no need to create a new directory. I'll make use of the existing directory only. I'll make use of the existing data only. So that is how your data has been loaded into this table. That is how the data is showing you here. That's how the data is showing here. Right? Now let me drop this table. What will happen? Sir, you shown me before the data, when you load the data, it will come to the warehouse. Then I delete. It will delete from the warehouse only. Right? That's what I told you before, right? So it will, the whole data will come to user, Hive, warehouse, in this my specific database. In that the data will be deleted. This is what you shown me, right? Because this is a Hive specific warehouse. If I drop the table from here now, will it drop the table? Will it drop the data from other side as well? Yes. Not only from the warehouse. Warehouse is what? One location. This also like a folder structure, right? So when you drop it, drop table categories underscore location, press enter, the data has been deleted, guys. Let's go ahead and check. Let's go back to your training and look at here. No, the categories is not there. The data has been deleted. The data has been deleted. What does it mean? Your manage table, irrespective of your loading the data, irrespective of your pointing out some specific data, if you drop the table, the data will be deleted. That is the point I want to show here. The point is here, irrespective of your loading the data, or irrespective of your loading, your pointing out the data, existing data, if you drop the table, the data will be get deleted. The data will get deleted. Clear, guys, about the manage table? About the manage table? Any doubt about the manage table? Anil, Anisha, Ganesh, Kishore, please guys, you guys need to respond to me. Then only I'll understand whether you guys understood or not. Oh,
Understood, Vira.
Anisha, are you guys there? Or you just joined and left for break? Huh? No one is responding. Ganesh is there. Okay. Rakesh, you guys are
Understood,
mute.
Veda.
You guys are muted. Please unmute and talk.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, understand.
You guys are there with me, right? So because I'm not able to see you, so you guys are not keep in mute and you guys not left, right? You guys are there with me, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Veera.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice to hear. Yeah, good. So that is about the managed tables, guys. Okay. So I hope you guys are very much clear about the managed table. Temporary table is very simple, guys. Very simple. You have a scenario like you want to create one table for temporary purpose. You don't want to make it for, I mean, you don't need it for further sessions and further in future. What you will do? You will just create a temporary table. The table will be available till the session is available. Till the session is available. Suppose if I come out, exit from here, the table will be deleted. As simple as that. Okay. So the table will be exists till the session is available. If you come out from the Hive prompt, the table will be removed. So make sure that while you are creating a temporary, you should be very careful, guys. And 2 points we need to remember in while you are creating a temporary. One, what is the one? That's about the manage table, guys. I'm going to discuss about the temporary table. So but I could have explained you guys like external tables, but to start explain the external tables, it will take some more time. So I thought to explain the temporary table. What is a temporary table? How it will work? So the point number one, what is this temporary? It is its life is life is till session ends. Session means the shell. If you close the shell, it will go off. Okay. Some execution you are doing. Let's say in the production you are doing some execution. Till the job is alive, the session will be there. I mean the table will be there. As soon as this job is completed, the table will be removed automatically. Okay, that is the life of your temporary table. The point number one is the life of the table. Okay, so suppose you are creating a temporary table, you are thinking that it will be available for some more time. No, as soon as the session ends, the session closed, the I can say the Hive prompt closed, your data will be removed. Point number one. Point number two, if you are creating a table, if you are creating a table with existing table name, what it will tell normally, it will give a warning saying that no, it's not warning, it will give an error saying that the table is already exist, I cannot create a new table. That is what, right? You can look at here. If you go ahead and create test table, it's saying that the table is already exist, I cannot create, right? But your temporary table, no, it will not give this error. It will not give this error. It will directly go ahead and create it. It will directly go ahead and create it. So then what about the existing table? The previous table, the existing table cannot be accessible. The existing table cannot be accessible. Look at here, guys. I'm going to create temporary table. I'm going to create a temporary table on existing table. So we have already, this table is there, right? Now I'm going to say temporary. I'm going to create a temporary table. Table is created. Only one table is there. No data is available. But it was there, no? The data was there, my temporary, the test table, right? Before the same command, if I execute there, it's given me error saying that it's a fail to execute because the table is already exist. But when I say temporary, it's not given me any error. It is created existing table. It's created existing table, and when I see the table, data is not there, but because I didn't insert any data into my temporary table. Correct? Now let me exit from here. I have exited. I have exited. Let's go inside. Let's re-log in. Exited means that session is end. The Hive session is ended. I'm re-logging in. I hope it's recording properly because I want to share with you guys this recording. One second, guys. Number. Okay, let's go ahead. We have created in test, right? 650, 630. Hey, test is exist. What this test? Let's go ahead and see. You select Corey. use select query. Here data is come back. It means when you create a temporary table, the temporary table is masking or overriding. I can say masking instead of saying overriding. It's masking an existing table, and the name is same. If the name is same, then only, guys. So it is masking the existing table, and when you try to access the old table, it will not become, because the same name you have used for it. The same name you have used for it. So until unless the temporary table is dropped, this table will not be dropped, in the sense session out. Okay, it will not come out. But let's look at this, guys. Okay, so guys, please try to understand what is the temporary. So that's why I'm showing you multiple scenarios here. I created. If I go and say select, nothing is coming. I dropped it. I dropped it. Done. I exit. I came out. I relogged in. Let's see what happened. Hive is getting into low. I think little slow because my resources has been used very badly. Test 630. Show tables. Good. Still the data is available, right? You understand the difference, right, guys? This is what I want to show about. This is what I want to show about temporary table. Temporary table. Any doubts still here? Any doubts still here? Any doubts still here?
Veera, what is the main advantage of this temporary table, Veera?
So let's say you want to do some operations on some specific temporary table, like we don't want to keep the table for permanent or persistently, and like let's say you want swapping the data from one table to another table. So you need some intermediate table, right? So that intermediate table will create a temporary
Okay.
table.
Okay.
Any other questions?
But we are masking the existing table, right? When you create a table, a
You're
temporary
not.
table.
So don't give the same name. No. Why you are giving the same name?
Okay, if you give other name, we can able to access the
Yes.
original
Yes.
table, right?
Yes. You can. You can.
Okay.
Look at
Okay.
here. Look at here. So masking. Okay, guys, don't get confused. The masking I have shown because same name I have given. If I create this with this, it will create both will be there. I can access both. Test is there. Test one is there. I can access test as well as I can access test one also. Okay. If you give the same name, it is
Okay.
masking. You don't give that's a warning. I'm telling you guys, don't give the same name. So you should be very careful while creating a temporary table. You should be very careful. You should create with a non-existing table name. If you create with existing table name, it will give a problem.
Fine, Veera.
We should give a table name which is non-existing table name while creating a temporary. Temporary table will not give a warning. Table is already exist. I cannot create like that. It will not tell. It will just go ahead and create. But normal tables, if I go and create normal table one more time, if I go and create normal table, it clearly tell me that no, guys, I cannot create table, right? You try to create the same again, another temporary table with the same name. Temporary table T1 was already created, right? I'm creating one more time. Now it is telling temporary table is already exist. You cannot create one more temporary with the same name. The temporary table already exists. You cannot create one more temporary. But before table was a managed table. If you created a managed table and you create a temporary table, it will able to create with the same name. If you create a managed table, if you create it with the same name, the another managed table, you cannot create. Okay, let me explain here. You have a managed table. You have a managed table. Name is sample. And if you try to create another managed table with a sample name, it will throw error. It will throw error. I cannot do. But if I go with a temporary table, sample, it will allow. Why? Because this is temporary, this is different. It will allow. If I try to create one more temporary, it will throw error because same type. This is how it maintains the metadata information internally. It cannot. Understand? So please make sure that every time you give unique names. Don't give the same existing names. If you're giving an existing names, it will give you a problem. Any doubt? So that's it for today, guys. So tomorrow also we'll meet the same time. And Ganesh has some doubt. Let me read out. If other tools like pig access the manage table, if the pig user deletes the table, then how users can use the same table from Hive? You cannot exist. Not only that, guys. Okay. Let me show you one more point here. So if your Hive has a table, okay, let me create one manage table to make you understand. So I'm going to end with this exercise, and we'll see the rest of the thing tomorrow, and after tomorrow onwards we'll see them. So now I'm going to create one more, again going back, doing this. One second, guys, I'm just getting on call. Sorry, guys, now I created table and the data is loaded. Okay, let's go back here. 1 second, guys. Here. So now data is there in this location. I'm going to load the data into this again using Hadoop command. Using Hadoop command. Look at this now. Hadoop fs -ls, sorry, -put / user local input and data categories. This file I want to put into this location. Look at, guys, this. Oh, it is not selecting. Look at this. Okay. Okay. Why it is? The file is already exist, no? The same name. Okay. You just say 1. If you are putting from HDFS command, it says the file already exists. If you are putting through if you're putting through your Hive, it will create a duplicate. Okay. If you load one more time, it will create a duplicate. Okay. So you try to understand the difference. Okay. Now I'm giving just 1.csv. Okay. Now I'm loading the data. Now the data is loaded successfully. Now go and refresh this. 3 files will be there because 2 times I have executed load command, 1 CSV file. Total 3 files will be there. Total 3 files are there. So these many are count. So what is that? 58. 58 plus 58 plus 58. 3 files. 3 times 58, right? Right. So 58 116 plus 158. So 164 214. I think 214 files records has to be there. 58. So 150 plus 3 8s and 170. I think 174 records has to be there. Okay, let's go ahead and recount here. Select store from. You have these many, but you may not understand how many records are there. 174. It's clearly showing fetching 174. It means not only inserting the data through Hive. If you are putting the data through using HDFS command, if the pattern is matched, the pattern, try to remember, guys, the pattern is matched, the column, the delimiter is matched. If the delimiter is matched, the data will be appeared in the Hive table. The data will be appeared in the Hive table. Let's assume that I'm loading some table, some data which is not matching. Let's go ahead and load some table, some data which is not matching. Some data which is not matching. Let's look at here. And you take it as an exercise, guys. So I want to give you an exercise. You take it as an exercise and try it. Load some data which is not matching. It will show null, 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 null. First records will be there, and the last records, whatever you have loaded, those will be null. Okay, you try that. Okay, you guys can easily understand that. So the question was, what the question the Ganesh was asking, if I delete the table, if I delete the data from the using pig, when can user make use of it? If user deletes the data, you cannot access it. Let's say I'm deleting from here now. Let's say from here I'm deleting the data. Let's see here, I'm deleting the data from here. I'm removing 1.csv. I'm removing 1.csv file that has been removed. You go to your Hive and check whether how many records it will show. Only 116. It means the data is deleted. Whether you are deleted from HDFS, whether you deleted from Hive, whether deleted from MapReduce. If you delete, it's delete only. You cannot access the data. If you delete, the data is deleted only. You cannot access the data. Clear, guys? Any doubt? Any doubts? Ganesh, is your doubt is clear?
Clear, Viral.
Okay. So thank you guys. Thanks for your time. So we'll be seeing the rest of the things tomorrow, and tomorrow same time 6 to we'll maximum try to finish by 6 to 8. Tomorrow not 6 to 9. We'll finish by 6 to 8. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time. Have a great day and great weekend as well. Bye.
Ravi,
Yeah, Saraswati, go ahead.
can you please share these documents and installations?
Yeah, Saraswati, I'll share with you.
Okay, Ravi. Thank you.